International Organizations and Their Relevance, written by T.S.S.R. Subramaniam. It was 1981. I had already worked for 2 years as Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Commerce. I do not know how I came to the notice of the Commonwealth Secretary in London, but out of the blue, I had a semi-formal message from them whether I would be willing to go to Lesotho on a 3-year assignment as trade advisor. I quietly researched as to where Lesotho was and to find some details about this landlocked country within South Africa. I discovered that the country was not much bigger than an average Indian district with a similar population. It, however, had about 20 odd 5-star hotels, a large number of golf courses, and was a holiday destination for South Africans. I was inclined to accept the offer, particularly as the salary suggested was far in excess of what I was getting paid by the government in India. In addition, every middle-level government servant covets an international assignment as it signifies recognition and status. P.K. Kaul, one of the ablest, finest administrators I have ever come across, was my boss as Commerce Secretary. Presumably, he knew how pig-headed and obstinate I was in most matters. One afternoon, walking into his office room, I was surprised to see my wife sitting in the visitor's chair. She was getting a lecture from Kaul Sahib as to how inadvisable it was for me to go to Lesotho at this stage of my career. He wanted her to convince me against the move by putting her foot down. He realized that it would have been of no avail if he had spoken to me directly. His ploy worked. Lalita convinced me not to go, and the matter was forgotten. Apparently, Kaul had told her that I stood out among the joint secretaries in the ministry and that sooner or later I would be selected for a better foreign assignment. Sure enough, within a year, I was selected for the post of Indian ambassador to World Trade Organization in Geneva. In due course, that posting to Geneva for me fell through. I had taken all steps to go for that assignment, including undergoing a security briefing, authorization for tickets. The move was so imminent that one of the Hinduja brothers, usually resident in Geneva, called on me, offered me all facilities, including accommodation, a vehicle, etc., till I settled down in Geneva. Presumably, the Hinduja family was dedicated to pursuing the interests of the government of India even in foreign shores. Much later, I discovered in another context as to how an Indian business family with a branch in Geneva kept a strong watching on India's negotiations on various issues in WTO and lent their good offices to mediate between Washington and New Delhi in ensuring that India took the right posture in Geneva International Trade Organizations. At the end of it all, I learned that nearly all the international organizations that I came across from fairly close quarters were mainly established to look after their own interests. The reason of their creation is to benefit the developed countries, while the ostensible reason is to provide development assistance. The main preoccupation of the employees of these prestigious agencies is to draw substantial salaries, plan their holidays meticulously, and generally appear to be busy while doing nothing. Their unwritten motto is self before service. As one Indian colleague pointed out, the salary levels in these organizations is of the order of 100 times that of working for the government, while the work, responsibility, and accountability was 100 times less than in government. These agencies may have been relevant for 4 or 5 decades earlier, but now are mere parasites on the international system, serving no purpose except the welfare of their employees. These include the International Monetary Fund (IMF), the World Bank, and GATT. It is astonishing how out of date our national perception on such matters is when India still hankers to be a permanent member of Security Council of United Nations and is willing to make sacrifices for it. Too much of the energy in our external interface is wasted in working for this objective. The surest way to be recognized as a major power in the world is to become one through strong domestic developments like education, health, infrastructure, industry, and society without social tensions. The shortcut of permanent membership of United Nations Security Council may avail us of very little. The annual pension that I earned for working for 5 years in Geneva was higher than the Government of India pension for 33 years of work in India. This was the main reason why, on return, I had no sense of personal monetary insecurity and could stand up in higher reaches of the government, holding my own and not needing to buckle down under pressure. This is the psychological advantage that the foreign posting allowed me to have. In the final analysis, is this the only benefit received by developing countries from such international organizations? Thank you very much for listening. Now, some of the words used in the above passage and their meanings. P.K. Kaul, one of the ablest, finest administrators I have ever come across, was my boss as Commerce Secretary. Presumably, he knew how pig-headed and obstinate I was in most matters. Pig-headed, Pig-headed. Pig-headed means showing unreasonable support for an opinion or plan of action and refusing to change or listen to different opinions. Pig-headed means showing unreasonable support for an opinion or plan of action and refusing to change or listen to different opinions. In due course, that posting to Geneva for me fell through. Fall through means fail to happen. I had taken all steps to go for that assignment, including undergoing a security briefing, authorization for tickets. The move was so imminent that one of the Hinduja brothers, usually resident in Geneva, called on me. Imminent means almost certain to happen very soon. Imminent spelling IMMINENT. Imminent means almost certain to happen very soon. It is astonishing how out of date our national perception on such matters is when India still hankers to be a permanent member of Security Council of United Nations. Hanker, HANKER. Hanker means to want something very much, often something that you cannot easily have. Hanker means to want something very much, often something that you cannot easily have. Thank you very much.